and do a countdown.
I think are we on?
We're live.
Oh, good.
Hi, everybody. We're live coming from Work of a Soul today. And we have our friend, Michelle DeLucca.
Hello,
Am I saying it right?
Yes, you are. Thank you, David.
And she is an author. And what else do you do?
I'm also a journalist. I work at a newspaper in Niagara Falls. Where do you look on these things?
Well, there's the... You're supposed to look
Oh,
there.
got it. Okay, good. I'm a journalist from Niagara Falls. I work for a daily newspaper there.
Mm-hmm.
We have two papers, the Lockport Journal, which is a canal town just north of Niagara Falls, and Niagara Falls, the Niagara Falls Gazette.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a print journalist and work every day. I'm a features writer as well, so I spend a lot of time telling inspirational stories, wonderful stories about the best of us, and it's a really great job because no matter what's going on in the world, it reminds me that there are incredible people here.
There really are.
It boosts me every day. It makes me a little too cheery for a newsroom though, because they're all really grumpy, and I'm going like, oh, it's a beautiful day.
It is. I feel so good. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be grumpy, and I'm not. So.
It's that balance. You
It
get that
is,
balance,
it is.
right? Well, she is here today dropping off a special book for us that we're going to have at our shop. And if you'd like to tell everybody about it.
I will. The book is called Forevermore, A Love Story from the Edge of Eternity. And it is exactly that. It's based on my lifelong research into near-death experiences and takes place in Lilydale, which is a spiritualist community, an actual spiritualist community, located about an hour from Buffalo, Niagara Falls, south of there. And for those of you who've never heard of Lilydale, as I said, it's a spiritualist community. You have to be a practicing medium to live there. In my story, I wanted to, being a print journalist, I write the real news all the time, despite what you've heard about journalists. And I wanted to have some fun because the real news is out there, and there's so many people writing books about near-death experiences. And there's so many of us who still are really super frightened of death and dying.
Yeah, it's not always a pleasant subject. But
the people that have died consider it like they come back and they tell these stories about death being extraordinary. And for a very long time, I've kind of considered it like a rebirth. You know, we birth in and we birth out. And that's, from my research, that pretty much explains what I've come to understand about death and dying. And I wanted to write something hopeful and inspirational and beautiful about dying, which should send all of you running. But
I know it's a tough subject.
It's a terribly tough subject. But if we knew what the people say, there's a YouTube video, a TED Talk actually, about a man from a wealthy and long-established family whose relatives came over on the Mayflower, and he had several near-death experiences, at least two, and he does a TED Talk about them. And he talks about death as not only being the most glorious, exciting thing that we can undertake, but that we don't even have language to describe how incredible dying is.
The transformation.
And so if this is our greatest journey, why are we all so afraid? That's why I wrote a love story. So that people would approach the idea with something warmer in their heart, and maybe not be so frightened. And it seems to work. If you were to go on Amazon and search Forevermore, 2 words, forever there is more, or my name, Michelle DeLucca, you'll find this little book, and you'll see that when it touches people, it really touches them, and they're grateful. They become less afraid of death and dying, and I feel like if that's the least I can do with my life is to make people more comfortable with all of what we are and what comes next, then that's a pretty good thing to do.
Oh yeah, you're leaving a legacy. I can think of 3 people that could benefit from this because they're going through the whole death thing and the sadness of it, and you can change their outlook on it. I know I started it, and it's fascinating what I've read. You really reach the heart of people. When you're describing the little kids in school and the episode that they had, I felt like I was right there.
Aww.
You know, I didn't do it, but I felt like I was right there.
You'll find out if you read it.
You got to read this book. It's really fascinating stuff. And we are going to have some copies here available. And we're going to have some signed copies available for special people that say they want one on this video. But we're really looking forward to working more together, possibly in the near future.
Yes, thank you.
She's traveling right now. She's traveling down.
Yes, we are in a little motorhome, and we're traveling down the Atlantic coast and just stopping into New Age bookstores and spiritual bookshops, metaphysical shops, because that's where those are the people I'm reaching, the ones who are already searching, who just want to have some fun with a novel and feel better when they're done reading it.
Yeah.
Based on there isn't a thing that happens in that book that I haven't read that a real life person experienced.
Fantastic. That says a lot right there. So, and this is probably a book that you will pass on to people, is what I'm thinking.
Well,
once you read it, you pass it on, and we'd rather that you purchase books, but but there's a few that I buy and I give to people because it means something.
If this book became that would be a very happy day for me, because I really do feel like it kind of, I write every day, but this particular story kind of came through me with more help than I probably deserve. But
so you felt like it was almost a channeling?
Yes, it was almost a channeling where I would be typing, and a lot of writers say this happens, where you're writing and you go like, oh. And that's pretty much what happened to me several times.
Perfect.
Where the words just came out and characters created that I didn't even plan on having in the story. So
yeah, oh, that's fantastic. Now, how long did it take for this one?
it took a year, and that's pretty much working full time. I used to get up in the mornings before work, and before I even got out of bed, my husband would drag a cup of coffee and drop my computer on my lap, and I would do it from the recently left dream state. So.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops, we got a visitor. You can't see. Ripley's here at the moment, saying hello. What do you think about this book, Ripley? She gives it 2 thumbs up.
Pause.
2 nails up.
Yeah.
Well, we're really looking forward to sharing this with folks out there. And you do a blog. People can connect with you online.
Actually, I have a website, michelledeluca.net, MICHELEDELUC.net, where they can read more of my work, and then I write for the Niagara Gazette. So my writing about people is always. I'm going to be writing about this trip down the coast as well. A couple of months in a motorhome with my husband. So we're really hopeful that we'll still be married at the end of the journey.
Fantastic. I think you will. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Michelle, for coming in today.
I can't thank you enough.
Nice to hang out.
A great idea.
Looking forward to this, and we are going to have copies here for anybody that wants to come in and purchase them, or you can find them on Amazon. Yeah, so.
Perfect.
Any last words? Any parting words?
No, I'm just delighted to be in this beautiful store and to meet with you.
Fantastic. You as well.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.